And it was not discussed so far.
Kolhapuri couples costing $1,300.
The noise we made finally got heard, and it's so nice that somebody took action on it.
Pictures and videos of women that were taken in the Bengaluru metro, now on Church Street and other prominent places in Bengaluru. We managed to arrest both of them.
We are bringing you now, for the very first time, is that the Air India preliminary crash report is out.
This 15-page report into 10 key findings of what really is being said in this probe report.
What's reporting without impact? NDTV 24/7.
Namaste, hello, and welcome to the Indian Abroad on NDTV. I'm your host, Priyanka Deo. The topic of the day, Trump's tariff games explained. In most negotiations, people assume success comes from persuasion or compromise at the table. But those who understand game theory know the real strategy starts long before the first conversation. Game theory is the study of strategic decision-making. It helps you anticipate your counterparts' likely responses, limit their choices, and frame the game in your favor from the start. Now, Trump's strategy is setting the rules before the game really starts. One of the clearest real-world examples of game theory in action was Donald Trump's, or I should say is Donald Trump's, aggressive use of tariffs during his presidency and campaign trail. He didn't wait to negotiate. He imposed tariffs first and then invited trade partners to the table, often under high pressure and high stakes. For instance, Trump recently announced a 35% tariff on Canadian goods, a 30% tariff on imports from Mexico and the EU, and floated a 15 to 20% blanket tariff on most major trading partners. These bold, headline-making moves are not random or reactionary. They're actually strategic. They're tactical. By acting first and going public, Trump changes the entire dynamic of the negotiation. He forces other countries into a defensive position where reacting becomes the priority, not bargaining from strength. This tactic fits the game theory principle of limiting the other side's options. They must either concede or they must escalate. Now, structuring the game before it starts, how does that work here?
Hi, good evening. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. This Saturday evening, we're going to deep dive into the latest as far as the Thailand-Cambodia clash is concerned. 32 people are dead. The conflict continues. But before that, we get you the headlines this evening. First up, battle for Tamil Nadu intensifies. Prime Minister Modi is set to arrive in Tamil Nadu for a two-day visit. Chief Minister Stalin is to give a petition to Prime Minister Modi to remind him about the pending projects in the state. Shocker comes to light from Bihar, where a woman was raped in a moving ambulance in Bihar. 2 people have been held. Chirag Paswan slams his government over lawlessness, says it's sad to support such a regime. Enforcement Directorate heat intensifies on businessman Anil Ambani. 3,000 crore rupee money laundering probe against Anil Ambani. ED probe linked to the Yes Bank scam. Congress's Udit Raj compares Rahul Gandhi to Ambedkar. BJP slams Congress over the comparison, says why the Congress party is not searching for a second Nehru. India-UK Inc. trade pact. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal calls the agreement historic. India's agriculture and MSME sectors are set to benefit, says the Commerce Minister. India and Pakistan will be in the same Asia Cup grouping. India-Pakistan tensions shadow on sport. Sources say India may meet Pakistan 3 times in the tournament. All right, the top story that we're tracking on the show this evening, that's the news that's just coming in, which is that raids on Anil Ambani continue. ED raids at Anil Ambani's premises. This is ongoing for the last 3 days. They began on the 24th of July, and this is linked to the Yes Bank scam. More details are coming in that those raids are continuing. And the charge against Anil Ambani and his companies has been that there's been a massive diversion of funds after they were taken from Yes Bank during the Rana Kapoor time, and even the loans were sanctioned under dubious means. That's the big charge against Anil Ambani, and over 3,000 crore rupees is the kind of money laundering that is the allegation against Anil Ambani and his companies. Let's get in Anushka, who's joining us for more on this. Anushka, you've been tracking these raids the last couple of days. Tell us, what is it that the ED has found so far in these raids? The process is still ongoing. What next? How long is this likely to continue?
That side, the enforcement directorate continues searches of Anil Ambani's Reliance Group companies in Mumbai. The agency have recovered documents and computer peripherals. Raids relate to an alleged bank loan fraud case of rupees 3,000 crores. The investigation focuses on illegal loan diversions by Yes Bank to Anil Ambani's companies between 2017 to 2019. The raids were launched on July 24 by the probe agencies as part of an alleged rupees 3,000 crore worth bank loan fraud linked money laundering case, apart from multiple other allegations such as financial irregularities and also with crores of rupees by certain companies. Now the search is being conducted under the PMLA are continuing at some locations out of the more than 35 premises that were covered in Mumbai since Thursday. These premises belong to 50 companies and 25 people, including a number of executives of the Anil Ambani Group companies. ED sources have said that the investigation primarily pertains to allegations of illegal loan diversions of around rupees 3,000 crore given by the Yes Bank to the group companies of Ambani between 2017 to 2019. Reliance Power Infrastructure to the group had on Thursday also in the stock exchanges, while they acknowledged the action that the raids had absolutely no impact on business.
All right, we'll leave it there, Anushka. Thanks much for giving us those details. Shifting focus now to the big story that we're tracking on the show. Prime Minister Modi in Maldives. His 2-day visit to Maldives is set to conclude shortly, and he will be headed to Tamil Nadu. Those are visuals that are coming in from Male, where Prime Minister Modi is set to depart. This was a 2-day visit where he was the guest of honor at the Maldives Independence Day celebrations, the 60th day Independence Day celebrations, where the India-Maldives relationship has seen a complete reset. My colleague Vasudha, who's been tracking this on ground for us, joins us live. Vasudha, you've been tracking this visit, speaking to all stakeholders in this very important visit of the Prime Minister, which is now almost coming to an end. Walk us through the latest that's happening, and then we talk about the highlights of this visit as well.
Yes, Corey. Incidentally, the buzz here is at one point Maldives used to be a Chola. It used to be part of a Chola, of the grand Chola Empire, and the Prime Minister is on his way to Thoothukudi, and he's on his way to Tamil Nadu from Maldives to inaugurate Chola temple. So clearly a lot of history and symbolism there. Prime Minister Modi was here for almost 1.5 hours, and this is where this is the sea, and this is where the function took place, and now people have departed. Prime Minister Modi was, he participated in the official celebrations of the 60 years of Maldives' independence. Mohammad Muizu, the president of Maldives, also spoke to media after that, and he told us that he is very happy with the kind of promises that India has made, and he's hopeful of an FTA that will increase trade between Maldives and India and will be mutually beneficial. And it's an interesting place, Gauri, because right behind me is also the police headquarters, and this is the sea, of course. And let me just show you the new building which has come up and which has been built by India. And this is the Ministry of Defence's building, and it has Independence Day greetings. But yesterday it was Modi and Muizu there. So clearly a lot of symbolisms there, and of course India making this very important point that when it wants to reset ties, it does it with a steady approach, with quiet diplomatic efforts, and does not believe in open confrontation.
Indeed, That's been one of the key highlights of the visit, where Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated some important development projects. A fresh credit line has been extended. But Vasudha, really the big picture here when you talk about this visit, it comes at a time when the quiet diplomatic back-channel lines of communication have really seen the kind of dramatic turnaround in the India-Maldives relationship, right? From the India-out champion that Mohammad Muizzu was, here he was actually greeting and receiving Prime Minister Modi himself at the airport along with his top members of the cabinet.
Absolutely, Gauri, and this you would know better than me, because these efforts have been going on for the last 1 year. In the last 6 months, over 6 ministers of the Maldives cabinet have visited India, and the efforts have been to reignite trade, to initiate that very important FTA, and also to ensure that India extends and expands that line of credit, something that Prime Minister also announced yesterday. All of this is very important for Maldives, which has been economically stressed because of depleting forex reserves. And India knows that. India has been the first responder when it comes to any natural tragedy or man-made crisis that Maldives has suffered. And Maldives is a young democracy. In fact, it's been 65 years since it became. It's been 60 years since it became democratic. But remember, 2008 was the first time multi-party elections were held in this country. So, Gauri, let me also tell you this one observation that I did. I sort of had in my head, during Independence Day, 15th of August is such a big day for us Indians. But there wasn't that kind of enthusiasm in the streets of Malé today. So clearly, Independence Day means very different things for people of this country. It's been a hard-fought freedom, but also it has been so fragile that people understand democracy in very different ways. In fact, I was also trying to talk to people on, what their concerns are, what their aspirations are, and people are not very comfortable, are quite apprehensive to talk, on media, because they believe that political stability is not something that they are blessed with. So democracy is something that they touch with a barge pole that they are very, very apprehensive about. So clearly many differences there, and India acknowledges those differences, which is why it has maintained a steady, calibrated approach with Maldives, specifically when a non-MDP party came to power, and India had to recalibrate its strategy along with the kind of approach it had with other neighbors such as Bangladesh and, of course, Nepal and Sri Lanka specifically.
Indeed, I'm going to leave it there. Vasudha Venugopal, my colleague, joining us from Malé, covering that all-important visit of the Prime Minister, where he was there for a 2-day visit, and the dramatic turnaround and reset that the bilateral relationship has seen under his tenure. All right, viewers, turning attention now to the big story that we're tracking this evening on the show, the Thailand-Cambodia clash, which has now entered its 3rd day. And this is not, viewers, a new issue. In fact, tensions have been flaring since the very first time the French demarcated the territory. It was, in fact, the curse of the colonial cartography that continues till today. The map was drawn by French in early 1900s. Remember, French had colonized Thailand. In fact, it was under French colonialism that the map was drawn, and the temples were put on the Cambodian side, which the Thai side did not contest in time. But the latest flashpoint has been the worst in decades, where casualties have now risen to 32 and 130,000 people have been displaced. Now, both sides have blamed the other for starting this conflict. But as I said, this is not a new conflict. It's been going on for over a century, but the trigger has been the last couple of weeks that tensions have been rising. Now, as things stand right now, there is a demand for a ceasefire that has come from Cambodia. United Nations held an emergency meeting where they've asked both sides to exercise maximum restraint. India has also issued an advisory for Indians. There's a very large number of people who go from India for travel purposes. We'll decode that as well. And this is a big story right now. The Thailand-Cambodia clash, where is it headed from here? The elements, the stakeholders that are there is what we will decode. But first, I want to get a voice from the ground to really tell about how things stand right now. And is there any possibility of the situation actually being brought under control? I believe we have Mr. Amit Khanna, who's a journalist, joining us from Bangkok, and we also have a voice from Cambodia, who's Deputy Director of the China-ASEAN Studies Center. But Amit, to you first, let me understand from you that both sides are blaming the other for starting this, for triggering the flashpoint. But what, according to you, and help us understand how things are looking right now on ground 3 days into the conflict?
Okay, there was a small incident that happened with a Thai Cambodian woman being pushed away by the Thai army people, and that led to this the whole conflict. And otherwise, small or big incidents keep happening around that temple area.
Okay, so there was a small incident, but it snowballed into this big issue and a big conflict where you're actually having big missiles and all sorts of weaponry and ammunition being fired from both sides.
Absolutely.
Civilians actually in the harm's way. And as things stand right now, the only country which has maximum leverage right now is China there. But both sides also do not want a lot of China influence because they understand what that also brings on the table. Help us understand what is the possibility of diffusing these tensions, and do you see that happening?
See, if you understand, historically, Thai-Cambodia communication channel has always been there. There was never a deadlock. But today, for the first time, the government of Thailand has declined to talk. So let's see. It's interesting to watch what happens in next 2-3 days because the war has reached Tarat region, which is a new territory.
The war has reached a new territory, and let's get in our voice from Cambodia as well. And sir, apologies in advance if I'm not able to pronounce your name correctly. Mr. Thong McDavid, who's the Deputy Director of the China ASEAN Studies Center. Sir, how do you see the present conflict? Where do you see this being diffused? How soon do you think things would be brought down to normalcy?
Thank you for the question. For me, I do believe that the event that's happening, the strategic events, the conflicts along the border is caused by somehow the provocative aggression from the Thai army at the Tamon temple. Because both military has been agreed to not block the entrance to the Tamon temple. But on the early 24th July, Thai military has used barbed wire to use it to put it around the temple. And then there's incident, there are shootings, which both sides accuse each other of shooting first. So for me, I do believe that the only way to resolve the conflict is to exercise strategic patience and restraint. But now the situation at the border is expanding and is developing into a more destructive because each side have sent the weapons and also the armies to the border. And the Thais also call for the martial law along the western border of Cambodia near the sea, including the province of near Kokong province. And recently, this evening, Thai's Navy has sent 8 warships to the coast of Thailand, to the Gulf of Thailand, in order to prepare for any incursions. So this strategy is encroachment strategy used by Thailand is not helping the situation. It will cause more escalatings, and also there would be more fightings both on land and on the sea in the future.
Okay. So, in fact, now let me also tell our viewers in terms of while this conflict rages on, there's a very large number of Indians who actually visit this area. In fact, there's a very large number of Indians who travel to Thailand every year. Let's put out some of those numbers for our viewers to know, some of whom, of course, would be traveling to Thailand regularly. Now, there are 35 million total international tourists who visited Thailand last year. Thailand relies very heavily on international tourism earnings. 1 million Indians have already traveled this year to Thailand till mid-June. And the number last year was 2.1 million Indians who traveled in 2024. So as I said, this is an area where a lot of Indians travel to. There's been an advisory that's already been issued by the government, both for Thailand as well as Cambodia. In fact, after China and Malaysia, India is the 3rd largest in terms of the number of tourists who go to Thailand. In the wake of that, Amit, how do you see this issue, this area now becoming a problem for Indians who travel there regularly because of the kind of connectivity that we have, because of the ease of the entire visa process, that's likely to have an impact directly on many aspects, right? One is the conflict per se, which adds to a lot of tension in the region from a geopolitical point of view. Second is the aspect with the number of Indians who actually travel so easily to Thailand, and that number is actually increasing. Do you think that will now be a deterrent for us, for a lot of Indians?
Not really, because this region where it is, not a lot of Indians travel. Maybe Indians who want to travel to Cambodia may enter by road through this border region, and then also because this is a Shiva temple and it has some sort of significance for Indian travelers.
Yes, it is a Shiva temple, and one cannot miss pointing out the fact that there are these two Buddhist countries. They pretty much have a similar, shared culture and history and broad religious practices. Broad, I use the word. Both of them are in a conflict that's locked into for almost a century over a Shiva temple, apart from several other things. Mr. McDavid, then you mentioned that it's unlikely that there will be a solution to this. At best, there could be a ceasefire, which Cambodia has been asking for because of the number of civilian casualties that are rising on both sides. Do you see an external player actually mediating in this? The role of China, one cannot help but ask, could be important and significant to bring things down to normalcy?
So in order to diffuse the situation from my own perspective, I do believe that there should be an immediate engagement via ASEAN emergency meetings to support the UNSC de-escalation. So ASEAN has been playing a crucial role, and Malaysia as a chair has been talked to both leaders, Thais and Cambodian leader. However, after the talks, like 1 hour after talks, and the Thais has again violates the agreements that there will be no fire, but 1 hour after the talk, there will be fire along the way. So the second is that we need to focus on how to deal with the situation at the ground, and also trying to diffuse the situation through the ICJ or international community, because even before the situation escalated, before the fightings, Cambodia is the one who urged Thailand to resolve the situation through the international means in order to avoid any further misunderstanding or clash between our two countries. However, the Thai side will always send soldiers, always use some so-called provocative actions, such as hitting Cambodian soldier at the Diamond Temple and other provocative aggressions in order to cause Cambodia. But Cambodia has been also always maintaining the strategic patience that we do not, we never cause any like aggressive behavior. Yes.
All right. And in fact, those questions that we are asking for the benefit of our viewers, let's put that out once again for our viewers tuning in right now, which is the core issues that are there right now for the conflict to at least subside for the immediate, which is that when will the ceasefire, if at all, will take place? Next up, what will be the terms of this ceasefire? Remember, both sides are actually blaming the other for the conflict and the trigger to actually be there right now. The flashpoint, they say they didn't start, the other one did. And thirdly, can any party actually mediate in this? ASEAN is unlikely to have a very large role here. UN doesn't. The only party that does have is China. And both sides, at least Thailand, would definitely be very wary of having a larger China presence, particularly with regard to this conflict. Quick closing comments. Let me take that from Mr. Khanna in terms of immediate steps that one can see to at least ensure that some amount of normalcy comes back, because civilians are losing their lives here in this conflict.
Okay, see, what I have sort of come to know that Indonesia played a very key role in negotiating in the earlier conflicts, which is very similar, and they understand the issue in a much better way than any other country. So I think the Indonesia should come in and probably offer a solution to both the countries, because historically, when they came in the last conflict, they could resolve the issue.
All right. Okay. So Indonesia could probably be the important player here, the third-party mediator to bring things back to normalcy. Do you agree with that, Mr. McDavid?
I also agree with Sir over here, but I do believe that US and China and also Malaysia as an ASEAN chair could also be playing a crucial role in calling for the ceasefire and to diffuse the situation rather than put it more at the violent causes.
All right. You also are Deputy Director at the China ASEAN Center, so of course you would want greater presence of China. I'm going to leave it there. Yet another conflict that is currently happening around the world, this time in Southeast Asia, and NDTV will keep getting you details in terms of how soon things could actually bring and come back to normalcy. Thanks so much, both of you gentlemen, for joining me on this edition of this special debate that we're having this Saturday evening. Shifting focus, viewers. Two more breaking news that's coming in on the broadcast. Ministry of Education has directed all states and union territories to take immediate steps to protect students. All infrastructure, including emergency exits of all schools and public facilities and buildings, should be audited. Now, this comes in the wake of the tragedy that took place in Rajasthan. Now, what the directive that has come is that staff and students should be trained in emergency preparedness, including evacuation drills, first aid and safety protocols. Cooperation with local authorities, whether it's the NDMA, the fire services, police, medical agencies, should be strengthened, and information of any hazardous situation and incident should be reported to the designated state or union territory authority within 24 hours. Now, this comes after the Rajasthan tragedy that took place, the Jhalawar wall collapse. This is the fallout, where there's now a clear directive that has come in from the centre that and to ensure that there will be accountability, a directive to protect students in the wake that there is any infrastructure that is not up to the mark. Let's get in a quick update on this from Tanushka, joining us on the phone line for more. Tanushka, there's now the centre swinging into action after that horrific tragedy that took place in Rajasthan.
Precisely, yes. This incident that happened in Rajasthan, Jhalawar district, and taking note of that, after 7 children were killed and 27 injured after a government school, portion of a government school building collapsed, the Ministry of Education has directed to all states and union territories to take urgent steps to ensure students' safety and well-being. Now, the first one, being in this advisory that has been issued is preventive safety measures. And these are as per the National Safety Codes, as per the National Disaster Management Authority as well. These are 2016 rules that they are referring to. So all schools and public facilities must undergo safety audits in accordance with these national guidelines. And there should be structural integrity along with fire safety, emergency exits, electrical wiring. All of this needs to be thoroughly assessed. So all the states have been directed to perform these audits in the coming few months. The second point being that of awareness and training. All schools must be ensured that, they know how to carry out evacuation drills. First aid should be there. Safety protocols need to be followed. Now, the ministry is also focusing upon psychosocial well-being, which means in addition to physical safety, mental health and emotional well-being is also being stressed upon. And as per sources in the ministry, reporting mechanism is being treated as critical. Reporting mechanism meaning that within 24 hours, the states are designated to report any such incident and potential harm. Strict accountability must be ensured, and in case of delay or negligence, there will be action taken as well. Now, the ministry is also saying that they need to rope in public responsibility as well, which means that parents, guardians, community leaders will also be roped into taking care that all of these rules are foreseen.
All right, we leave it there. Tanushka Datta joining us on the phone line with details of that important story that we are breaking right here on NDTV. Well, viewers, with that is a wrap on the show. Thanks so much for watching. Up ahead is our special documentary on former Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out there.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. Far ho ya near, sab kuch dikhe clear.
Battleground Parliament.
हर चीज का जवाब देगी सरकार.
Operation Sindoor fireworks in the house.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में
हम चर्चा करेंगे. हर तरीके से करेंगे.
Government and opposition to exchange fire.
हम वेलकम करते हैं. मैं समझौता किया.
There's no political ceasefire. Both sides ready their ammo.
मेरा एक ही मिनट सुनिए.
Big guns to boom inside the house. Track the action only on NDTV.
So, sir, your work is heavily rich in impeccable artisanship and craft, I must say. And recently, with the whole Prada versus Kolhapuri artisan debate, how do you see this? Where do you stand? And also this whole conversation about cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. What's your take on it?
See, my personal opinion on anything other than plagiarism, which is absolutely not okay. But other than that, I think if somebody can get inspired by something which has its own sort of creative language and create something and create a sort of statement which highlights that thing even more, rather than sort of let it kind of disappear in time, then you're probably doing a service of sorts.
Right.
So, of course, with all acknowledgements and everything, that's mandatory. The world would never know about it until we do something.
So you think in a way Prada is exposing Indian craftsmanship and Kolhapuri?
I think what they've done to Kolhapur now, if you look at it, is suddenly it's the buzzword.
Right.
Everybody knows Kolhapuri chappals now.
City now.
Yeah, it's suddenly Kolhapuri chappals are the it sort of statement. So, may not have approached it the right way, but I think what this has managed to do to Kolhapur and an indigenous product is amazing. But do we capitalize it or not is another story now.
Okay. Do you think it's about time that the world, I mean, we've been here, we've been around, but do you think it's about time that the world started acknowledging what we have contributed to the art of garment making?
You know, I have a very serious disagreement with this acknowledgement of the West to know that we are important. Because I think that in itself is a wrong notion. Right. And I've personally been very against people who always think that there's this Gora hangover we still suffer from. You know, I think we're still not outgrown our
colonial fever.
Colonial droppings that are all over us. No other country.
Battle for Tamil Nadu intensifies. Prime Minister Modi to arrive in Tamil Nadu for 2-day visit. Stalin to give petition to Prime Minister Modi for pending projects. Woman raped in moving ambulance in Bihar. 2 people have been held. Chirag Paswan slams his own NDA government over lawlessness. Enforcement Directorate heat on businessman Anil Ambani. 3,000 crore rupees money laundering probe against Anil Ambani. Congress's Udit Raj compares Rahul Gandhi to Ambedkar. BJP slams Congress over comparison, says why Congress not searching for its second Nehru.
Presented by Canara Bank. Together we can.
A smiling demeanor, hands folded in obeisance, a shuffling gait, and a firm resolve to carry out his perceived duties. Outwardly, these were the most visible traits of the 14th Vice President of India. A constitutional functionary, a political appointee, and a person who chose to exercise his right to not finish his designated term in office. Jagdeep Dhankar, the man who upset the cart of Parliament, set the tongues wagging and speculations flying with his letter of resignation addressed to the President of India.
माननीय सभासदों, माननीय सभापति जी.
On July 21st, 2025, Jagdeep Dhankar invoked Article 67A of the Constitution, which allows the Vice President to step down from the post through a written notice to the President, and announced his resignation. The Vice President cited health as his reason for seeking exit.
I personally know that
he had health issues and he was being chided by his health experts and family doctors.
The shock of the resignation rolled through the corridors of the new parliament building. Seasoned politicians, toughened journalists, and even possibly the lay citizen with an interest in the affairs of the state were taken by surprise. For many, however, what was interesting was not the mere fact that the Vice President of India had suddenly tendered his resignation, but that it had been accepted with such alacrity.
हमको तो ऐसा दिख रहा है कि दाल में कुछ काला है, नहीं तो उनका हेल्थ भी ठीक है.
So I really don't think that his health was in such a precarious condition that he had to demit office. Obviously, there's much more to it.
A village called Kithana, presently a part of the Jhunjhunu district of Rajasthan. With a population of less than 7,000 as per the last census of 2011, Kithana is a typical rural settlement with no particular claim to fame except for one, Jagdeep Dhankar. The man who was to become the Vice President of India was born into a farming family from the village some 4 years after independence. And his resignation from the post of the Vice President came as a dampener for the villagers who basked in the reflected glory of one of their own.
इनका काम कहीं भी रहे, ये बड़े सतर्कता से और हिम्मत से काम किया इन्होंने, लेकिन गांव को झटका है, पूरे क्षेत्र को झटका है, पूरे जिले को झटका इस बात का.
At 9:25 p.m. on the 22nd of July 2025, the official X account of the Vice President posted Jagdeep Dhankar's resignation letter. While he still had about 2 years left of his term, in the letter to the President, Dhankar wrote he was stepping down to prioritize health care and abide by medical advice.
मैंने अपनी वाणी से, कर्म से, जाने, अनजाने या किसी भी तरीके से किसी की भावना को आघात किया है, दुख पहुंचाया है, मैं आप सबका क्षमा प्रार्थी हूं.
He did not forget to remember Narendra Modi in his letter, a man who in many ways had been instrumental in having him elevated to the Vice President's chair. The Prime Minister responded in kind by posting his reaction on X as well. From the moment the news broke, the Vice President's health, cutting across party lines, became the subject of some healthy debate.
सुबह तो राज्यसभा में थे, चेयर पर बैठे थे, जिस ढंग से वो बहाल करते रहे, मुझे नहीं लगता उनकी स्वास्थ्य का हो सकता है, उम्र में तो थोड़ा थोड़ा होता ही है, लेकिन उसके लिए इस्तीफा देने की नौबत आए, इतना तो स्वास्थ्य बिगड़ा नहीं था, किसी ने बिगड़ा है उनका स्वास्थ्य.
Jagdeep Dhankar ji was forced to resign by the Honorable Prime Minister and other cabinet ministers. And he was given a threat to the extent that if he did not resign within 9 p.m. on that date, impeachment motion will be brought against him.
उन्होंने पूरा हाउस चलाया है, उन्होंने बाद शाम में बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी की बैठक बुलाई है और उस बैठक में रिजू जी को और नड्डा जी को आना था, वो नहीं आए. ये हेल्थ का तो उन्होंने एक समझिए कि अपनी इज्जत बचाने के लिए उन्होंने ये हवाला दिया है.
Comes as a huge surprise and shock that despite his ill health, we remember him conducting the parliamentary proceedings when there was a health scare with regards to his heart and he had undergone a surgery. At that time too, he was back in the chair and he was conducting the proceedings of the House. So this doesn't somehow ring true simply because he was very actively conducting the parliamentary proceedings.
When reporters asked the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, considered one of his staunchest critics, to comment on his sudden resignation, she declined to comment, except for pointing out that he seemed in good health.
I don't have any comments about it because let us see the things. Let us watch. He is wealthy man. He is a healthy man. I think his health is absolutely okay.
The then President Ramnath Kovind had appointed Jagdeep Dhankar as the governor of West Bengal on July the 20th, 2019.
Execute the office of governor of West Bengal.
10 days later, the oath of office was administered by the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court at the Raj Bhavan in Kolkata. And so began one of the most public feuds between a governor and a chief minister of a state. Within 2 months of his appointment, Jagdeep Dhankar, as the governor of West Bengal, had rolled up his sleeves and marched into a confrontation with the governing Trinamool Congress in the state. A section of the students of Jadavpur University had sequestered the then BJP MP and minister Babul Supriyo and were refusing to let him leave campus. As tension mounted and the situation deteriorated, the Vice-Chancellor admitted himself to hospital citing health reasons. The Chief Minister refused to order the police into campus to rescue the minister without a written request from the VC. It was then that Governor Jagdeep Dhankar, in his capacity as the Chancellor of Jadavpur University, drove right into the middle of the fracas in his official limousine and drove out with Babul Supriyo. Altercations with Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee marked the 4 years of Dhankar's governorship of West Bengal. Dhankar never missed a chance to criticize Mamata's government, and Mamata never missed an opportunity to complain about his functioning. Governor Dhankar broke with tradition of having private conversations. He took to social media to communicate his views and question the state government's actions. This was not something that the feisty Mamata would take without challenge. And an all-out war of words marked Dhankar's residency of the Kolkata Raj Bhavan. In December 2020, Trinamool Congress MPs presented a memorandum to the President Ramnath Kovind seeking Jagdeep Dhankar's removal. They accused him of taking orders from political masters in Delhi and that his targeting the state government was part of a political agenda. In 2021, the West Bengal Assembly Speaker Biman Banerjee complained to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla about interference by the Governor Dhankar in the functioning of the State Assembly. In February 2022, a PIL was filed in the Calcutta High Court seeking the court's order in directing the centre to remove Dhankar as he was acting as a mouthpiece of the BJP. The petition was dismissed. The Trinamool Congress had repeatedly branded Jagdeep Dhankar as the real leader of the opposition in the state. But his gubernatorial actions and his abiding sense of commitment towards his duty did not go unnoticed.
हम सब लोग और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की संसदीय बोर्ड इस निष्कर्ष पर पहुंची है कि उपराष्ट्रपति पद के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए के प्रत्याशी के रूप में हमारे किसान पुत्र श्री जगदीप धनखड़ जी को हम उपराष्ट्रपति पद के लिए अपना प्रत्याशी के रूप में घोषित करते हैं.
In July 2022, the NDA coalition at the centre chose him to be their vice presidential nominee for the upcoming elections to fill the post of the VP. The TMC not only let out the proverbial sigh of relief, but broke ranks with the opposition and abstained from voting against him. They were happy to usher Jagdeep Dhankar into the vice president's chair, if that got him out of Mamata's hair.
मैं जगदीप धनखड़ ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति.
The child, Jagdeep Dhankar, learnt his alphabet at the village school in Kithana. Middle school was in another village, involving a 5-kilometer journey every day. Finally, it was Sainik School, Chittorgarh.
No crosstalks, please.
A grounding that he has been proud of, as it had instilled in him the first sense of that discipline that he tried to enforce in Rajya Sabha years later, and failed in many instances.
Honorable members, to maintain order, the listed business of the House may be taken up. One second. Take your seat. This is a platform for anyone just to rise and say whatever one feels like. Don't convert it into a classroom that I ask you to sit down.
A House chairperson having verbal duels with members is the staple of parliamentary democracy. But with Jagdeep Dhankar in the chair, the rivalry with the opposition members achieved a level of hostility never seen before. As soon as he took charge in the winter session of 2022, Dhankar set the stage for times to come.
By the Supreme Court.
He called the Supreme Court's 2015 judgment striking down the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act an instance of severe compromise of parliamentary sovereignty that disregarded the mandate of the people.
This House too passed it unanimously on August 14, 2014.
This was vehemently opposed by opposition benches who claimed this was the Rajya Sabha chairperson blatantly towing the line of the Treasury bench.
The Parliament, in a much-needed historic step, passed the 99th Constitutional Amendment Bill, paving way for the National Judicial Commission. There was unprecedented support to the above. If the Honorable Prime Minister wants to come...
In August 2023, Dhankar told the opposition that he would not direct the Prime Minister to be present in the House, as it was the PM's prerogative, like any other MP, to come to Parliament or not. The opposition were demanding Narendra Modi's presence to answer questions on the violence in Manipur.
Honorable members, one second. Where is the Prime Minister? Honorable members, Shri Pramod Tiwari, Shri Jairam Ramesh, Dr.
In the winter session of 2023, matters reached a new low when the Rajya Sabha chairperson suspended 46 members, even as 100 were suspended from the Lok Sabha. Opposition accused Dhankar of being party to a premeditated action plan orchestrated by the ruling dispensation.
Are suspended from the service of the council for the remaining part of the 2-second session of Rajya Sabha.
In December 2024, Jagdeep Dhankar faced the prospect of impeachment as the opposition submitted a notice to move a no-confidence motion against him.
उपराष्ट्रपति का गरिमा को अगर आप लोग अटैक करेंगे तो हम बिल्कुल बचाव करेंगे.
The notice, however, was summarily rejected and nothing came of the bid to impeach him.
कि संविधान के अडॉप्शन के 75वें साल में चेयरमैन की तरफ से हो रहे बायस्ड पार्टीजन व्यवहार विपक्षी पार्टियों को उनके खिलाफ ये प्रस्ताव लाने पर मजबूर किया.
Preamble is the seed of the Constitution.
The outspoken Dhankar never let propriety stifle his worldview, nor deter him from the path of political expediency. As the sitting Vice President of India, he questioned the words secular and socialist being in the Constitution.
Adding words socialist, secular and integrity.
In July 2024, he also labelled himself as the Eklavya of the RSS, wishing he had started his political career with the RSS itself.
मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि आज से करीब 25 साल पहले सदस्य न होने के बाद मैं आरएसएस का एकलव्य बन गया।
Jagdeep Dhankar had honed his political skills navigating the world of Bar Council power brokering in Rajasthan. He had a degree in law, and by 1979, he had started his practice at the Jaipur bench of the Rajasthan High Court. By 1986, he was president of the Rajasthan Bar Association, the youngest person to be so till then. In 1987, he got himself elected to the Rajasthan Bar Council, and this set him in sight of wider roles. Jagdeep Dhankar, possibly aware of the direction of blowing wind, joined the Janata Party and successfully stepped into active politics. In the 1989 elections, Dhankar won a Lok Sabha seat representing the Jhunjhunu constituency in Rajasthan. He served as the Minister of State, Parliamentary Affairs in VP Singh's Janata Party government. By 1991, he had switched parties. He went over to the Congress, contested the Ajmer Lok Sabha seat and lost. 2 years later, he became a member of the Rajasthan Assembly from Kishangarh. But in 1998, he came third when he again tried to win back the Jhunjhunu Lok Sabha seat. In 2003, Jagdeep Dhankar decided to switch allegiance again. He joined the BJP this time. And since then, his standing, both political and public, has only been on the rise. He has been in the good books of the BJP ever since, and all seemed to be going well in the relationship. That is, till the storm broke on the 22nd of July, 2025. It began when the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha accepted a motion by opposition MPs on the removal of High Court Justice Yashwant Verma, at whose house bundles of cash were allegedly found.
Honorable members, I need to inform you that I have received notice of motion.
The government was caught completely by surprise, as the centre had readied a motion for Justice Verma's removal, taken signature from opposition MPs as well, and wanted to introduce it in the Lok Sabha.
To constitute a statutory committee for removal of Justice Yashwant Verma, Judge of the High Court of Judicature at Rajasthan, at Allahabad.
The government, according to NDTV sources, was upset because it had taken a strong stand on corruption in the judiciary, and Dhankar's move risked diluting its leadership on the issue. A meeting of senior ministers was seen to be hurriedly held with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Later in the day, BJP MPs in small groups were seen assembling in Parliament. Again, according to sources, they had been called and asked to sign a significant motion. But it was all hush-hush. Insiders say signatures of MPs of other members of the BJP-led NDA were also sought. What was most significant, however, was that the MPs were all asked to stay in Delhi for the next 4 days. As chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, all these activities and their import must have been known to Jagdeep Dhankar. While it is not known yet if these secretive movements had anything to do with him or not, what is certainly established is that by the end of that dramatic Tuesday, Jagdeep Dhankar had quit. The Vice President had resigned.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the
battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash. Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
Well, in the latest episode of Control All Defense, we are talking about a platform that all of you want to hear about, the Tejas. The big question, we do know it's a great platform, but is it of use for the Indian Air Force going into the future? How relevant will it remain?
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Thinking about something like this, like a Supercross, why did you think that I should invest here? Because we know that you love for sports. But why bikes?
I just think you should put, what is that? Your money where your mouth is?
For the first time in India's history, legal assistance will now be provided proactively to the families of soldiers. The new initiative, titled the Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025, is aimed at relieving Indian soldiers from the domestic legal burdens while they serve in the harsh terrains and far-flung regions. In the landmark judicial move, the message is, and I quote, "You serve the country at the borders, we will take care of your family at home." The program has its genesis in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor. Sources had told NDTV that Justice Suryakant was deeply moved by the sacrifices made by the armed forces during the operation and had begun exploring ways in which the judiciary could contribute more directly to their well-being. The new scheme is tailored to address a long-standing issue. Soldiers deployed in isolated areas often lack the ability to follow through on legal cases involving family property, domestic disputes or land matters. In fact, this particular scheme was launched by Justice Suryakant Verma in Jammu and Kashmir. Take a look at what he had to say.
We have Justice Suryakant, who is Executive Chairman of National Legal Service Authority, Senior Most Judge of Supreme Court and next Chief Justice of India. Sir, it's a big event. What do you say about this? What is the event and what you want to do?
Yes, thank you very much, Ashish. First of all, I will convey my thanks to NDTV for giving full coverage at the nationwide to this event. This is on this historical day, which is also known as Kargil Vijay Divas. The National Legal Service Authority has launched a unique scheme that is known as Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025. This scheme is essentially meant for providing legal aid, legal assistance, legal advice, and any type of assistance in the legal form to the families of our Veer Jawans, our army personnel and paramilitary personnel who are, by unique nature of their duties, are posted at faraway places. They are in the remote areas. They are not in a position that in the event of any case filed against them or their family members with respect to any civil dispute or any kind of dispute, they are not in a position to go back and avail the quality legal assistance. And in that case, they should not feel that they will be left alone, and their privas, their families, their elder parents, or maybe their homemakers and their school-going children. So in this backdrop and in what has really been happening, so we just thought that it's our duty to come forward, to reach out and provide them this unique quality legal assistance through this unique scheme.
In Srinagar, with camera person Amir Bhatt, Ashish Bhargav for NDTV.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
Forget 10,000 steps. What if just 7,000 a day was all it took to live longer and healthier? A major new study published in the Lancet Public Health has found that walking around 7,000 steps a day is strongly associated with better health and a lower risk of dying early. Researchers analyzed data from over 160,000 adults and found that people who walk approximately 7,000 steps a day had significantly lower risks for a wide range of chronic diseases. Compared to those who walk just 2,000 steps daily, these individuals saw a 47% reduction in all-cause mortality, 25% drop in cardiovascular disease, 14% lower risk of type 2 diabetes, 22% reduction in depression, 38% decline in dementia risk, 28% fewer falls, and a 6% reduction in cancer risk. Unlike earlier studies that mostly focused on heart health or death rates, this is the first major research effort to comprehensively examine the impact of daily steps on multiple health outcomes. The review included 57 studies, of which 31 were analyzed in detail through meta-analysis, making this the most extensive data set to date on how walking affects health. Interestingly, the study also shows that even 2,000 steps per day provides better health outcomes than being inactive. While benefits for some conditions like heart disease continue to rise beyond 7,000 steps, for most other outcomes, the gains started to plateau after this point. The authors argue that 7,000 steps per day may be a more realistic and achievable target for many people, compared to the commonly cited 10,000 step goal, which was never based on scientific evidence. They say that step count is a simple and effective way to measure physical activity, and these findings could help shape future public health recommendations. However, researchers also caution that for conditions like cancer and dementia, more studies are needed. They note that many studies didn't fully account for confounding factors like age or frailty, which could influence the results. Still, the message is clear: walking more, especially up to 7,000 steps a day, can significantly improve overall health.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. Prime Minister Modi, after his visit to Maldives, he will be arriving in Tamil Nadu for a 2-day visit. And this is going to be a very crucial visit for the Prime Minister as well as the BJP in the state. We'll get you all the details of that story and much more. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. The battle for Tamil Nadu intensifies. Prime Minister is set to arrive in Tamil Nadu for a 2-day visit. Stalin's reminder, in the meanwhile, to the Prime Minister on the pending projects. A woman was raped in a moving ambulance in Bihar. 2 people have been taken into custody. Chirag Paswan, in the meanwhile, has slammed his own NDA government over lawlessness and said that it is sad to support such a regime. A big fallout of the Rajasthan school tragedy. The centre directs states to audit the school infrastructure. The centre says that train school staff for emergency protocol. ED heat on businessman Anil Ambani. A 3-day ED raids on Anil Ambani's premises. This probe is led to the Yes Bank scam.
What about the FTA? How hopeful are you? The FTA?
Very hopeful, very hopeful. I think we just started on it and definitely we hope to conclude it very soon.
Well, Prime Minister Modi attends Maldives Independence Day to reset the ties between the two countries. The Maldivian president, speaking to NDTV on the FTA deal with India, he said that he is hopeful of this FTA deal soon. Sources say that India-Pakistan are in the same Asia Cup group amid the tensions between India and Pakistan. Sources also suggest that India may meet Pakistan 3 times in the tournament. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is set for a high-stakes 2-day visit to pole-bound Tamil Nadu. This is his third trip with major infrastructure launches worth 800 crore rupees and a strong cultural pitch. From honouring the legendary Chola king to reviving key NDA alliances, this visit, it signals BJP's aggressive push ahead of the 2026 assembly elections. With Amit Shah already making 3 visits in just the past 4 months and a new state BJP chief in the form of Nayanar Nagendran, is the Saffron Party scripting a fresh strategy for the South? We'll try and deal the politics, the optics and big takeaways from Prime Minister's visit to Tamil Nadu. My colleague Sam Daniel joins us to get us more on this. Sam, how significant is this visit? This is Prime Minister's third visit to Tamil Nadu this year alone. And in that particular context, what can we take, what are the takeaways from this particular visit then?
Well, certainly Prime Minister Modi's visit to Tuticorin brings in a lot of infrastructural push in terms of a new airport terminal with a major expansion. Many railway as well as highway projects for southern Tamil Nadu, Osama, that will help in improving the connectivity and in improving the trade and export and cargo movement opportunities for this industrial town. And this also, in a sense, comes closer to elections, 8 months before elections, in a state where the BJP has a negligible presence. And in that sense, Modi would also be willing to use this opportunity to politically expand the footprint in this Dravidian heartland, particularly the context of reviving ties with the AIADMK. Tomorrow he would also be at another place called Gangaikonda Cholabhuram, at a temple where he would be with 25 heads of Shaivite monks, celebrating the 1000th anniversary of the Chola Emperor Rajendra Chola I, and also celebrating the then commencement of the construction of this iconic temple there, and celebrating his birth anniversary as well, besides the expedition of the Southeast Asia by the emperor himself. And here the BJP hopes the program would strike a connect with the Shaivite monks. They may not have a huge cult following like they have in Karnataka, but in the long run, Modi hopes this will help the BJP expand its footprint. Lastly, this also comes amid criticism that the central government has been discriminatory towards Tamil Nadu because it's ruled by an opposition party in terms of the 3-language policy, in terms of withholding of funds for school programs in Tamil Nadu. Already MK Stalin, the Chief Minister, has said he is sending a memorandum to the Prime Minister giving a list of projects to be done.
All right, Sam Daniel, thank you very much for getting us all those details. In fact, we also have a political analyst and a commentator, Dr. Sumant Raman, joining us on the broadcast at this point of time. Dr. Raman, this visit by the Prime Minister, the 4,800 crore infrastructure push, how do you see it? Is it more about optics or is it genuine outreach by the BJP and the government?
No, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, before every state election, about 5-6 months before that, he will start visiting the state, launching a slew of infrastructure projects. We've seen it in state after state. Most recently, now we are seeing it in Bihar as well. So I don't see this as a big surprise. The move to sort of court the Shaivite mutt heads Now that is an interesting move, because these mutts heads are actually not Brahmin priests. They are not Brahmin community priests who the DMK actually takes on, as part of the Dravidian movement.
Yeah.
They have targeted the Brahmin community. So these are largely belonging to the OBC communities, these Saivite mutts, and therefore the potential to use them as or to help create a vote bank. See, Tamil Nadu does not have a vote bank on religious lines, or the mutt heads, as Sam said, do not hold the kind of clout that the mutt heads have in Karnataka. Where mutts like the Vokalika mutts in southern Karnataka and the Lingayat mutts in northern Karnataka are very, very powerful. So here it is that way, but the Prime Minister is making the effort, and of course Gangaikonda Chorapuram revival is part of the cultural, the reclaiming the cultural history of the Tamil people. Because Rajendra Chola, one of the greatest Indian emperors, as it were, launched a naval expedition to capture large parts of Southeast Asia, way back in 1,000 years ago. And this is partly to commemorate that 1,000th anniversary of that naval expedition that the Prime Minister is actually participating in this function. So I think overall, infrastructure push, you've seen that in state after state. I don't see that as a special, whenever a state goes to the election, the Prime Minister will start this infrastructure push about 6 months, 8 months before that.
Yeah.
We've seen that. But the coating of the cultural sort of recapturing of the cultural space, taking on the Dravidian movement, because the Dravidian movement is not very fond of the Chola kings, right?
Yeah. So this outreach that you
this kind of cultural reclaiming that the Prime Minister is trying.
Yeah. So, Dr. Raman, this outreach that you speak about, is it the BJP trying to recalibrate its caste arithmetic in Tamil Nadu in that sense?
Yeah, the BJP has moved away from its image as a quote-unquote
All right, we'll try and reconnect with Dr. Sumant Raman, the Prime Minister. He will be arriving in Tamil Nadu. This is his third trip this year, and it is part of a major infrastructure push for the state of Tamil Nadu, 4,800 crore rupees and a strong cultural pitch. All right, Dr. Raman is back with us. Dr. Raman, yes, please go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah, no, I was just saying the BJP has moved away from its image as an upper caste party in Tamil Nadu. The last few leaders, state BJP chiefs, have either belonged to the OBC community, or as in the case of Dr. L. Murugan, a Dalit has been made the state party chief. So even now, the present state BJP chief, Mr. Nayanar Nagendran, belongs to a powerful OBC community from southern Tamil Nadu. So there has been a clear outreach towards the OBC community, a move away from the quote-unquote upper caste, baggage that the BJP has been associated with. And I see this meeting with the Saivite mutts as an extension of that outreach program. And to me, it seems to be a smart move, because it distances themselves from the quote-unquote Brahminical background that the BJP is perceived with in Tamil Nadu.
Quite a lot of interesting points that you made, Dr. Sumant Raman. Thank you very much for speaking with NDTV, sir. And shifting our focus to our other big story that we have been tracking, and that is the Rajasthan school tragedy. Remember, a school building had collapsed in Jhalawar and 7 children, they had died. It included 4 boys and 3 girls who had passed away in this particular tragedy. The families, they are feeling let down by this criminal negligence. In fact, let's listen in to some of the reactions first before we take a look at the report that Harsha Kumari Singh has sent us.
मैडम, आपने नियुक्ति पत्र भी दिए हैं, कुछ राहत मिलेगी?
हाँ, ये तो सबको मिलेगी नियुक्ति पत्र। 3 दिन बाद जब वो तय करेंगे किसको देना है, अभी तो हमको मालूम था इस परिवार का, इनको तो दे दिया है, जो दूसरे परिवार वाले जो तय करेंगे उसी हिसाब से होगा।
7 children died and 7 homes now wear an absolutely forlorn look. ये ऐसा घर है जहाँ 2 भाई बहन की एक साथ मौत हो गई। उनके पिता बिल्कुल होश हवास नहीं है। आपकी पत्नी का भी बीमारी हो गया है।
छोटू लाल है मेरा नाम तो, और मेरी मीना है 10 साल की और 7 साल का बच्चा है काना।
और सुबह उनका कुछ टिफिन बन रहा था और उसके पहले ये खबर आई।
टिफिन तो बाद में ले जाता मैं मेल के, और आओ घर पे आए थे ये।
आपके कितने साथी थे जो उसमें दब गए थे? आपकी क्लास के बच्चे थे क्या?
हाँ 5-6 तो बाहर थे और सारे दब गए।
आप नानी जी हैं?
हाँ नानी जी है, वो अस्पताल में भर्ती है, कई बोतलें चढ़ रही हो धनवा की।
वो रो रही है क्या? उसकी हालत क्या है?
भाई साहब दीदी ले गए 2 बच्चा बची एक ही में तख्ती में, जो रो के बेहोश हो गई। एक ही साथ चल गए दीदी।
तो क्या करते हैं इनके पापा मम्मी?
पापा मजदूरी करे दीदी, जमीन नहीं जावे बिक गई, इलाज में कुछ भी नहीं बचा, बच्चा बच्ची भी नहीं बचा, अब किसके सहारे जिएगा।
News now from Gaya in Bihar, where a young woman's dream to serve as a home guard has turned into a horrific ordeal, one that has now triggered shock and outrage across the country. The Union Minister, Chirag Paswan, he has sharply criticized the Nitish Kumar-led Bihar government over the rising crime in the state. This comes after this 26-year-old woman aspirant of home guard was allegedly gang raped inside a moving ambulance in Bihar's Bodh Gaya. 2 accused, including ambulance driver Vinay Kumar and technician Ajit Kumar, they have been arrested in this connection so far. In fact, Chirag Paswan, he said that criminal incidents are happening one after another and the administration is failing to stop them. He said that the law and order situation in the state is out of control and added that he feels sad to be supporting a government where crime continues unchecked.
25 तारीख को बोध गया BMP 17 के परिसर में होमगार्ड बहाली में महिला अभ्यर्थियों की दौड़ थी और उसी क्रम में एक महिला अभ्यर्थी जो है मूर्छित होकर के गिर गई और काफ़ी प्रयास किया गया उसको वहीं पर रिकवर करने का, लेकिन बाद में उपस्थित व्यक्तियों ने उसे हॉस्पिटल ले जाने के लिए कहा और पुलिसकर्मियों और अन्य उपस्थित व्यक्तियों के सहयोग से उसे एम्बुलेंस में भेज करके और NMC भेजा गया। बाद में लगभग 2:30 बजे महिला अभ्यर्थी ने यह आरोप लगाया कि एम्बुलेंस में जो कर्मी थे उनके द्वारा उसके साथ दुर्व्यवहार और दुष्कर्म किया गया है और इस सूचना को प्राप्त होती है हमने तुरंत अविलंब कार्रवाई की और उसका चिकित्सकीय परीक्षण प्राप्त किया।
इसमें प्रशासन की मिली भगत है और या फिर प्रशासन इस पे लीपापोती करने का कार्य कर रहा है और या फिर पूरी तरीके से प्रशासन निकम्मा हो चुका है और अब इनके बस का नहीं है बिहार और बिहारियों को सुरक्षित रखना। ऐसे में पुनः एक बार मैं बिहार सरकार से आग्रह करूंगा, ज़रूरी है समय रहते हम लोगों को इसके ऊपर कार्रवाई करने की।
राजनेताओं को बयान देने के पहले अपने गिरबान में भी झांकना चाहिए। जो लोग बिहार की कानून व्यवस्था पर सवाल खड़े कर रहे हैं, पहले ये तो सुनिश्चित करें कि उनके दल में आपराधिक प्रवृत्ति के लोगों को एंट्री नहीं मिलेगी। ये बेहद आवश्यक है कि नसीहत देना, आलोचना करना अगर केवल आपका कर्तव्य है और उससे आपकी जिम्मेदारी की तीसरी हो जाती है तो इतना काफ़ी नहीं है। देश में अपराध मुक्त किसी भी राज्य की कल्पना करना आज के दौर में बेहद मुश्किल है।
A political row has erupted after Congress leader Udit Raj. He compared the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and said that all OBCs must back Rahul Gandhi as he could be what he called the second Ambedkar. Now, following this comment by the Congress leader, the BJP has attacked the Congress party and said that the Congress has insulted Ambedkar and must look for another Nehru instead of tarnishing Ambedkar's legacy.
राहुल गांधी जी की बात में दूरदर्शिता बहुत है। यानी अगर पिछड़ों को हम ऊपर लाते हैं या दलितों को ऊपर लाते हैं तो हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था बड़ी होगी, बाइंग पावर बढ़ेगी, क्रय शक्ति बढ़ेगी और जो समाज के अंदर असमानता है वह कम होगा। तो राहुल गांधी जी की बात को अगर ओबीसी समझ गया तो वो चल पड़ा तो राहुल गांधी उनके लिए सेकंड अम्बेडकर सिद्ध होंगे।
अम्बेडकर जी का अपमान, दलितों का अपमान, यही बन चुकी है कांग्रेस पार्टी की पहचान। कांग्रेस पार्टी के उदित राज कहते हैं कि राहुल गांधी दूसरे अम्बेडकर साबित होंगे। अरे भाई, पहले और ओरिजिनल और एक ही अम्बेडकर जो इस देश में हैं, संविधान निर्माता, उनको अपमानित करने का काम किसने किया? और गजब की बात है कि परिवारजनों ने, पूर्वजों ने आम्बेडकर जी का विरोध किया, चुनाव हराया। अब बनना है दूसरा आम्बेडकर, दूसरा नेहरू नहीं बनना, दूसरा इंदिरा नहीं बननी। तो इसका मतलब साफ है कि नेहरू और इंदिरा गलत पथ पर थे। आज ये खुद परिवार स्वीकार रहा है। ये इनके तर्क है, ये इनकी परिवार भक्ति में आम्बेडकर जी के और एससी समाज के अपमान करने की कोई भी जो चांस है उसको नहीं छोड़ते।
For the first time in India's history, legal assistance will now be provided proactively to the families of soldiers. The new initiative, titled the Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025, it is aimed at relieving Indian soldiers from the domestic legal burdens while they serve in harsh terrains and far-flung regions. In the landmark judicial move, the message is, you serve the country at the borders, we will take care of your family at home. In fact, senior judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Surya Kant, he spoke exclusively to NDTV. Listen in to what he had to say.
We have Justice Surya Kant, who is Executive Chairman of National Legal Service Authority, Senior Most Judge of Supreme Court, and next Chief Justice of India. Sir, it's a big event. What do you say about this? What is the event and what you want to do?
Yes, thank you very much, Ashish. First of all, I will convey my thanks to NDTV for giving full coverage at the nationwide to this event. This is on this historical day, which is also known as Kargil Vijay Divas. The National Legal Service Authority has launched a unique scheme that is known as Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025. This scheme is essentially meant for providing legal aid, legal assistance, legal advice, and any type of assistance in the legal form to the families of our Veer Jawans, our army personnel and paramilitary personnel who are, by unique nature of their duties, are posted at faraway places. They are in the remote areas. They are not in a position that in the event of any case filed against them or their family members with respect to any civil dispute or any kind of dispute, they are not in a position to go back and avail the quality legal assistance. And in that case, they should not feel that they will be left alone, and their privas, their families, their elder parents, or maybe their homemakers and their school-going children. So in this backdrop and in what has really been happening, so we just thought that it's our duty to come forward to reach out and provide them this unique quality legal assistance through this unique scheme.
In Srinagar, with camera person Amir Bhatt, Ashish Bhargav for NDTV.
India and the UK have signed a landmark free trade agreement on Thursday during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to London, sealing the most significant trade pact for Britain since Brexit and marking a major breakthrough in India's global trade strategy. The Union Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyal, he elaborated on the deal. He said it was a game changer, highlighting India's potential in agriculture, dairy, MSME sectors, where he said India will see the most benefit. He also said that the UK has fair competition for for all the Indians. In fact, listen in to what Piyush Goyal had to say, and followed by Vishnu Shon's report on this.
A game changer in every aspect, a holistic, comprehensive trade agreement, which is going to be an important stepping stone to many more agreements with other advanced economies, which sets the benchmark of high quality FTAs that India will be doing in the future, adding to India's credibility, confidence and competence. We have protected all the sectors of India's sensitivity vis-a-vis UK, whereas we have got 99% plus access, preferential access, in most cases zero duty access for the exports that we do to the United Kingdom. So zero compromise, extensive benefit. It makes for a phenomenal free trade agreement.
The Commerce and Industries Minister Piyush Goyal has lauded the free trade agreement which has just been arrived at with the United Kingdom. This is a historic step, he says, and if you remember what the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, He said it's the biggest such deal that the United Kingdom has achieved since Brexit. But in terms of specifics, Piyush Goyal said that this was zero compromise and extensive benefit. He made the point that vulnerable Indian segments of our economy, parts of the agriculture sector, for example, will remain protected. So there is no way in which our farmers might be potentially impacted. At the same time, there are tremendous opportunities for various sectors, including the agriculture sector in the United Kingdom. There will be big takeaways in textiles and gems and jewelry, in marine products and in machinery. The services sector is seen to have been a major beneficiary as well, because when it comes to the movement of professionals from India to the United Kingdom, as much as 25% of their salaries were going towards pensions in the United Kingdom. These professionals were not staying in the UK for 10 years, and therefore they did not have pensionable incomes. With that 20 to 25% gone, there is potentially higher salaries as well for Indian employees working for a finite period of time in the United Kingdom. He also spoke about various other free trade agreements which are now going to happen. The most important one, the most interesting one, perhaps the United States. That is something that's going to be taking place very, very soon. That's at an advanced stage of talks. There will be an American delegation which will come. But importantly, India is also, and we aren't talking about this enough, but we are in advanced stages of conversations with New Zealand, Oman, Peru, and Chile as well. But the bottom line as far as this deal is concerned, according to the Minister Piyush Goyal, this is a holistic trade agreement which sets the benchmark. With Ashok Mahale, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
The battle for Tamil Nadu intensifies. Prime Minister is set to arrive in Tamil Nadu for a 2-day visit.